Well, hello. Hello,
Yeah.
everyone. And David.
Yeah, it's David.
Yes, I know it's David.
Yeah.
And I'm not delighted to be talking to you in this way because I thought that you were getting better and better. And then over the last few weeks...
Yeah, just before you start,
Sorry?
I'd just like to say I've been watching my episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you realise what I'm talking about then? How horrible you've become.
Absolutely horrified by my behaviour
Are you?
when watching back the last few episodes. My interactions with Neil, because my hair looked absolutely awful.
That's what you're horrified at.
Yeah,
What about your...
really bad behaviour by David. I should have applied more tail oil.
No, don't try and take the wind out of my sails like that before I've even got going. No.
What, is it the beard?
Not the beard. It's nothing about how you look. You always look fine. It's about how you behave to Neil. And we need to look at this because it was the worst ever of you acting as if you're his, how do you say it? Papa. As if you're his
Neil's papa.
You're not Neil's papa. You acting as if not only are you Neil's papa, but somehow you get into this abusive dad role and you start being really horrible and saying not just insults like sad sack, which is disgusting and horrid.
Absolutely not.
No, it is. It's disgusting and horrid and how dare you. But also saying nasty things about him being not a very good version of himself and a disappointment. And what's all this about a potato wearing a covering of clothes?
Yeah.
Horrible insults.
We can all improve. There's always room for improvement. And in Neil's case, there's plenty of room for improvement.
No, plenty of room for improvement for you, David.
Well,
Plenty.
I can see you take issue with David.
I do take issue with David because you've been so very mean.
I've been under the weather. Yeah. Suffering from a touch of barrel fever.
What on earth is that?
Just a touch of barrel fever.
What's barrel fever?
Yeah.
What is barrel fever? It doesn't exist, does it?
Just getting over it. Yeah.
Well, there's lots of things you need to get over. Now, one of them is your current fantasy. So this fantasy about you having some kind of a retreat which has developed over weeks or deteriorated over weeks to become what sounds like a prison.
Developed,
where in your fantasy, in your
it's not a fantasy.
in your fantasy world, you've ended up with 12 assaulted celebrities.
11, 12 including David living in the studio.
One of whom is entirely invented. Ferris Bueller is a fictional character.
You're just lucky I carved some time out to speak to you because they've all gone out on a field trip.
No, they haven't gone. They haven't gone anywhere because this is one of your fantasies, and it's just a ridiculous fantasy. Of course, there aren't 12 people living in this small space with you. Why would Sting, an absolute A-level, A-list celebrity, want to mix with you in here, in this tiny room?
Sting's a fallen angel.
He's not a fallen angel.
Yeah, David's helping him put his life back together.
David is trying to make himself feel bigger in his fantasy
by imagining. He's a dangerous man.
Not
you
a dangerous
well to
man.
Remember that.
The dangerous man, if there's any dangerous man at the moment, it's you with your gaslighting, which I've told you about before, and you're still doing, and your meanness, and it's also rubbing into your nasty fantasies. You're on the borderline of being, you're quite scurrilous, libelous about these stars, these people that everybody respects, and you talk about them as if they're small children or dangerous animals.
I'm not sure that I like your tone in you speaking about my clients in such a way.
Clients. They're not your clients, who you didn't even call clients. You were calling them inmates, which is a nasty word to use.
It's the safest way to view them.
The safest word.
You're extremely damaged, and Sting is particularly damaged.
Utter nonsense. It's a hodgepodge of ridiculous ideas you've pulled from bits of religion and little bits of recovery work and little bits of counselling, and you don't understand about any of it, and you've put it all together in this horrible fantasy, and then you've allowed yourself to believe the fantasy and start being nasty to the person you spend most of your time with, which is Neil. And I'm not having it. I'm not having you treating people like that. What about this person? What about poor Emmeline?
I don't even know what that is.
You don't know what that is. This was one of...
What is that little rag?
This, ladies and gentlemen, and David was your so-called son for many an episode.
Absolutely not. He's no son of mine.
You
just pulled him out of a cubbyhole. He looks like something for cleaning windows with.
There we go, you see. This was your fantasy for ages and ages. Emmeline was your son. You were his papa.
No.
Emmeline was going to fly. You were ready for him to fly the nest as it was and experience
Sounds like
the world.
you've been watching a different show.
I've been watching the David show. And I've been listening to the things and the stories that you have spun. And I love your imagination. I always have. I love you. I think you're fab. And you look amazing. But you're so mean. You're so mean. And it needs to stop. And this particular fantasy, I don't want to hear this on air anymore. You are not to talk about people in that horrible way. People that everybody respects, like Sting. How dare you? And how dare you talk to Neil like that?
Well, luckily, most of the inmates are coming to the end of treatment now.
The inmates have finished their treatment
David's worked very fast. I'll still be charging them for the full term, but they're ready to be discharged. And Neil can have free run of the studio again.
Thank you. If that's how it has to be, you need to have this last word of framing it in your way, fair enough. But I don't want you talking about it again in another episode with Neil. You are not to. You are to focus on where are the students, where are the Town Hall Smart students in your episodes. I've not seen any student with you for probably nearly 2 months.
Yeah, you might be right about that, but that's not to say it's not for want of trying. I've been out and about, but there's been no one here.
Do you know what? I think I might even get some students to assemble and I might even get them to talk to you about what they think about the fact that you've just totally done nothing with them and ignored them as if they don't exist. Loads of our students would love to spend time with you. And here you are doing your imagination thing in here, in this studio, and you get a bit weird when you do that. You don't see people.
I've got such a busy schedule. I've got the security detail. I'm the head of the rapid response team. And I'm the caretaker for the whole building and all the different companies that are housed on the premise.
This is all nonsense. Do you really have to believe that?
Yeah.
You have to believe that in order to function, do you?
I have to believe what's true.
You have to believe it. No. Do you have to believe it for your well-being and your identity? Do you have to believe this rubbish?
I'm absolutely tip-top. David doesn't need anyone. He stands alone. He's an island. Yeah.
Oh, well, they say no man is an island, don't they?
Yeah, well, this one is.
You're not an island. You're not an island. You need relationships like everybody else does, and you need people to like you, and you need to have respect going on.
Well,
Feels
you'd have
nice.
thought so, but not David.
Yes, David. David ever so.
David's been around a long time. I'm not sure I like your tone, and when Sting returns, I might demuzzle him.
Look, right, the tone I'm using with you is, I guess, rather cross, but I'm actually concerned about you as well. I really like you. Lots of people really like you, really respect you. We find you very funny. You are very, very funny.
Oh, yeah.
You are connected with people, and you could build on that and get even more connected with people. So let's see some changes. Let's see you turning it around, getting out there in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you like that?
Yeah, I like the idea of getting out in the world again. I've been in this studio for too long and it's getting stuffy.
Yeah. And do you really not remember who this is? Do you really not remember Emmeline? No? No? Gone. Gone. That's Emmeline.
It's my boy.
Yeah, that was your boy. Here we are. Put him there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your boy. And Neil's not your boy. No, that's your boy. All right?
Yeah.
So anything else you want to say?
No, just I'll try and turn things around and love David.
Love Sue.